Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is February 20th, 12:46 p.m., and great end to the week here. I'm feeling really good. Um, the results are really good the last 2 weeks and this week. So, let's get into this week's results, right? So, this week, click on go, right? Ended the week up again, right, despite the lower win rate, right? So if you recall last week, 80%. This week I'm at 40 and I'm still up, right? I had one of my best trades where I held for $2 in QQQ today. And while these losses, I wish I cut it, 10 to 15 bucks sooner, no implosions, right? And again, it's going back to the contained nervous system idea, and or the not the idea, but me, containing the nervous system, not trying to make it happen. Right? You can see today only two trades. Yesterday, four, and I sort of just stopped there. So again, much better containment. Right? Really happy with the results. Again, most of what I was doing today was just footprint, looking at the footprint here. So, unfortunately I wasn't able to get that move because my God, when I was watching that move this morning, it really just went. Buyers weren't. There wasn't even a high delta. Buyers were just able to accumulate it without any issue. Very low effort and phenomenal results. So I took. Let me see what I did again. So I went long at 12:20, or sorry, 10:20 and 10:40. So that was let's go over to the 10-minute here. So that was somewhere in here and then here. So I was able to catch some moves in here. Again, held for a $2 move. So, that really, my average win to loss this week is exceptional, right? Last week I had the really good win rate, 80%. This week, and a very good average loss to average win. And this week, while the win rate went down, the average win to loss is phenomenal. 85 to 22 is, Paul Tudor Jones, who has a terrible win rate, is right, like he says, 5 to 1 or 4 to 1, right? So me being 4 to 1 with, this type of win rate is really good. Over the last 2 weeks, my win rate is at about 60 something percent, if you average it out. So, yeah, exceptional last 2 weeks. My goodness. Phenomenal turnaround from, previously. Because again, the shift was, okay, the nervous system is really what's the key, right? If you don't understand the nervous system in your first year of trading, you really are gonna waste your time and gamble, because it's interesting, right? Gambling is really about the nervous system and, the neuroscience crap. So the dopamine, the cortisol, and then the nervous system stuff, which, it's kind of unrealistic how anyone figures that out in their first year. I don't know how on earth anyone would realistically know, okay, I need to know this stuff before I trade. The only person who knows fucking those stuff are people studying neuroscience. I'm not gonna go to college and study neuroscience. It just sounds weird. So, that's, I don't know what God's doing here. Is a fucking idiot, but yeah. Anyways, outside my rant, so I was really just looking at footprint today, and trying to buy within the value area on my the value area on my volume profile here. I'm using 30-minute extended, okay, and I'm using a value area of 40. Right, I want to see where the most volume is. So I'm looking for trades in here. Honestly, I could have taken something here in this 1 hour footprint, but I was so happy with the 2 that I kind of just didn't want to trade again. You know what else? I wasn't really looking at anything else. You know, once you're in the trade, it's hard to look at a bunch of different tabs. You're just focused on price. You know, I was trying to look at the EMAs, or my 5-minute and my 1-minute EMA for you know, holding. But yeah, very, very happy with the results. The results are great. I think now I'm gonna you know, I need to size in terms of a buffer. So previously, if you remember, I failed the eval because I sort of sized up to minis. I need to create that buffer. So once I get to, 1,000, right, then it makes a bit more sense to do the minis at 1,000. So again, it's important if you're taking the eval to really create a buffer with the micros first before going to minis. And yeah, so I think once the account is at what's the account at right now? Yeah, once it's at 1,000, 100,000 and 1,000. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Why am I? 101,000. Yeah, once it's at 101,000, then I'm gonna be looking to do the minis. Right, because I think what happened was, again, I took like 3 trades and then I failed the eval. So I can still take three losses in a row. That's perfectly possible within my win rate stats. So gosh, let me just see if there's anything else. So again, I don't think I'm going to go over zero hedge, just really good results from me identifying, within the footprint, and again, looking at the 5-minute to see, okay, is this a potential spring? Because again, if we go back to the footprint, I've, done some, imbalance highlighting, right? So we can see here, sell imbalance, buy imbalance, right? So I'm switching between the time frames, right? Because you want to see, I think what I'm focusing on right now is what's really manifesting here is I've been trying to buy, the tests and the springs within the Wyckoff method. And I think what's working now is finding where the imbalances are and if the spring or test occurs there, and then also buying within the value area when the spring and test occurs there. So you're buying, again, is you always want to buy. The reason why retail loses money, and everyone's guilty of this, is you can like study the market for like 1 to 2 years, I think, and like know enough to start trading. But I think what happens is when the auction is finished and there's thin volume and price moves against you, it moves too quick for manual trading. So that's really the key. You really have to buy where the price is most likely to move slow, right? And we can do that with volume profile, TPO, okay, and then VWAP, right? So we can do that with a simple VWAP. We can go volume weighted average price, and we can, sorry, that wasn't what I want to do. We can change the standard deviation to half a standard deviation. Yeah, like that. And so we really want to buy where price is going to move slow. Okay, because here's what I think what happened. I think when I took those $50 losses this week or yesterday, it's more so, nobody's perfect, right? No one is perfect when it comes to trading. You can say, okay, I want to get out here, but you don't have to be perfect to make money. And so, what happens is it can hit your level, it's not like you're going to quickly react at the exact penny, and you need to say, okay, I need to get out. But again, it helps a lot when price is moving slow. When price is moving fast, you're fucked. Okay, you're just fucked. So that's sort of the most important thing. You really have to study in your first year. Where is the price most likely to move slowly against me, so I can avoid taking a big loss, right? Because people say, "Oh, how do you avoid taking a big loss?" They're not going to say, "Oh, you have to trade where price is moving slowly." No first year knows that. Okay. So yeah, I think that's really the key. Me is understanding. Okay, in the thick liquidity, unfinished auctions, price is going to move slowly against you, so you're just more likely as when you're trading manually, discretionary, to take a smaller loss because of that. So yeah, I think that's all for this video. I really should have bought that at 604.2, but I didn't. But yeah, I did some nice footprint tweaking here, so I think it looks very pretty. But interesting what's happening, right? You see a very negative delta, but sellers are getting absorbed. So I think what's happening is this is a very interesting structure, and it's one of the more complicated ones that require an intermediate level of Wyckoff, because I think this is really neither accumulated or distributed. It's sort of moving from structure to structure. It was downward sloping. Now the change of character occurred. Then it started moving upward sloping. It's really it's interesting, and I think it has to do with maybe the dealers and the gamma, and the systematic's not really buying, but they're not selling either. So, maybe the gamma and the options are preventing this thing from, accumulating back up to 16, 615. But we'll see how the rest of the day goes. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.